Welcome to the 2021 EOI Lpac training presentation brought to you by the Department of English Language Learners. The ELL compliance team consists of Deanna Pecorino, Maureen Holman, Tiffany Gruber, and Megan DeWitt. We are here to support you with your end-of-the-year Lpac. If you email us, please email 2 team members to ensure the promptest response time. As a reminder, the Lpac directory has the forms and information from this year. The link can be found on the directory picture from the slide or in our Canvas page. This presentation will provide information for completing end-of-the-year Lpacs for all students who are active Ls, parent denials, monitor year 1 or monitor year 2 students. During this presentation, please actively participate. Keep this presentation for support or guidance in finalizing end-of-the-year Lpacs. Complete the quiz at the end of the presentation for credit, and attend the EOI Lpac hands-on training. The first item on our agenda today are TELPAS reminders. Please do the following slides for TELPAS extension follow-up. Thank you for meeting with us to review the new TEA TELPAS extension plan, which allows campuses to collect TELPAS domains through May 21st. The information for the extension plan and reclassification communication are linked on the slide. Also, thank you for meeting with our compliance team to review your potential reclassifiers and next steps for the TEA reclassification allowances. If we have not met with you to review your student's TELPAS reclassification worksheet, please reach out to our department before finalizing your end-of-the-year Lpac. The step-by-step reclassification document is linked on the slide. The second item on our agenda is to go over the EOI Lpac processes overview. The following slides will explain the EOI Lpac process expectations. Here is the elementary EOI Lpac schedule. As you can see, you are currently completing the first step on the schedule, which is the EOI Lpac training. The schedule is linked on the slide. The purpose of the Lpac is to review student progress and create a linguistic plan to meet students' needs. This meeting is very important as we are reviewing each student's yearly data to make a linguistic plan for the following school year. This includes all Ls, including parent denials and exit monitored year 1 and year 2 students. The Lpac will review academic and linguistic progress and make a program placement decision for the following year. This will occur at the end of the year and will be to reclassify students who meet state criteria and ensure appropriate program placement for the next school year. Who is required in an EOI Lpac? First, we must have a campus administrator. This can be a campus principal or assistant principal, but must be someone coded function 23. It cannot be another staff member in a different role that holds an administrator certification. We must have a parent of a current English learner participating in a bilingual or ESL program. This Lpac parent representative cannot be an employee of the district, either directly employed or contracted by a third-party company. Finally, we need a teacher representative. Depending on who is being discussed, we will need a certified bilingual teacher or a certified Gen Ed ESL teacher. If the Lpac is discussing bilingual students, then a certified bilingual teacher must be present. If the Lpac is discussing ESL students, then a certified Gen Ed ESL teacher must be present. If the Lpac is discussing both bilingual and ESL students, we will need both. Within the committee, the Lpac administrator represents all district administration, the Lpac parent represents the community and all parents, and the Lpac teacher represents all classroom teachers. For the compliance Lpacs, which are mandated by the state, all 3 representatives must be present. Other attendees may be invited to attend as necessary. Elementary campuses must designate 1 bilingual representative. They must also designate at least 1 certified Gen Ed ESL teacher of record to be the campus's ESL Lpac teacher representative. These teachers must be currently serving as the teacher of record for the students in one of these programs. Please remember that all representatives must be present and meet together to review each individual student to finalize and sign the Lpac. At the end of the year, the Compliance EOI LPAC reviews every English learner being served in a bilingual or ESL program, English learner with a parent denial, exit monitored Year 1 and Year 2 students. The LPAC reviews the following: oral language proficiency test data, the student's academic proficiency level with grades and classroom tests, English or Spanish reading state assessment, English writing state assessment data, Iowa data if applicable, and a subjective teacher evaluation. Here is the processes for finalizing the end of the year LPAC. Step 1, the admin will schedule and open EOI LPAC. Step 2, LPAC admin meets with teachers during PLCs to make recommendations for student individual needs. Step 3, the LPAC admin reviews each student's needs with the LPAC committee. That includes the LPAC admin, LPAC trained ESL or bilingual teacher, and LPAC parent. After review of each student's data, designated supports, scheduling, and service recommendations are made. The committee will finalize and sign the EOI LPAC. Let's review our first student group, monitoring Year 1 and Year 2 students. What do I need to do first for the Monitor Year 1 and Monitor Year 2 LPAC process? Let's review who are the monitor students. These are students who have met reclassification or exit in years past and are coded as monitor, and for 2 years will need EOI LPAC for Monitor Year 1 and Year 2. Monitor Year 3 and 4 will not receive EOI LPAC. Do the Monitor Year 1 and 2 students need an EOI LPAC? Yes. Students who are Monitor Year 1 or 2 must receive an EOI LPAC. The LPAC committee monitors student progress for the first 2 years after a student has met reclassification exited services. Monitor students who are failing and will need a progress monitoring form completed by their teacher of record for the LPAC to review during an EOI LPAC. Where do I find a list of these students? Looking at the EOI LPAC schedule, on May 14th through 23rd, you will review monitoring students and continuing student lists in Elevation. The ELL department has created Elevation filtered lists of the students who are Monitor Year 1 and Year 2 that failed Semester 1 or Quarter 3. To get to these students in Elevation, select the student list, select Views in EOI LPAC 2021, select Monitor Students, the Monitor Year 1, Year 2 failure list. This view gives a grade level chart. Click on the grade level bar to see the students list of Monitor Year 1 and Year 2 students. What decisions will the LPAC make for Monitor students? Continuing monitoring, transition from M1 to M2 and M2 to M3, or move back to ESL services. If the student is failing and needs to move back to receive ELL services, that will be decided within this meeting. On the bottom of the screen, you will see a click sheet for the EOI LPAC for Monitor students. During your EOI LPAC, monitoring student data will auto-populate for the committee to review and make a finalized decision. When looking at the academic progress for each Monitor student, be sure to examine their 9-week grades, map data, and monitoring forms completed by their teacher. Students who would continue monitoring are maintaining progress in the classroom without language support. The teacher is not needing to provide extra support due to language needs to be successful. Now, go to LPAC Center to schedule and open your EOI LPACs for continuing ELs. While EOI LPACs are in open status, review Monitor students' grades and testing scores to see what students are passing and would be good candidates to continue Monitor status. Second, while EOI LPACs are in open status, review teacher forms for the reasoning of why the student should continue in Monitor status and not receive ELL services. Third, with the LPAC committee, the LPAC administrator will share the collected information, and once the committee has discussed and reviewed each student, they will finalize and sign the EOI LPAC. Fourth, after finalized, print a copy of the EOI LPAC and place it in the student's green LEP folder. The student is continuing from M1 to M2 and M2 to M3, therefore no PEIMS coding change is needed. For students who would need to be moved back to services, they are failing courses due to language needs, not lack of attendance, show unsuccessful data due to language supports needed that are not documented, and or the teacher is providing extra support due to language needs to be successful in the classroom. While the EOL Lpacs are in open status, you will review monitor students' grades and testing scores to see if there are any students who are failing. Second, review the list of monitor students who are failing with an ELL specialist, Tiffany Gruber or Megan DeWitt, for further guidance prior to meeting with the Lpac committee. Third, the Lpac administrator will share the discussion and guidance of how to move forward with the Lpac committee. Once the committee has discussed and reviewed each student, finalize the EOI Lpac. And fourth, there are steps for reporting to PEIMS a coding change. First, the campus will contact parents to inform the change in student services. A parent letter will be needed and completed for a parent to approve the placement. Please reach out to Tiffany Gruber or Megan DeWitt for assistance with the letters. And second, student services will need to be contacted. Let's review our next student group, which are continuing Ls. The second step involves EL students who are continuing services. These students are currently served as ESL SPED, ESL, or bilingual students. Please see the following slides on how to review students' individual needs for the Lpac committee to document what services the students will need for the following school year. You will be guided on how to do this through the EOI Lpac process. The following students will need to continue services: K through second grade students, third through fifth grade students who are assigned a Spanish STAR assessment, third through fifth grade students who are assigned designated supports by the Lpac for STAR reading assessment, SPED students who do not meet reclassification criteria. See SPED reclassification section of the EOI Lpac training presentation for more information on this. Back to our EOI Lpac schedule, as you can see on step 2, there is a continuing student list and elevation. Let's take a look at what that view looks like. The ELL department has created filtered lists of the students who met the prior requirements to continue L services. In order to do this, go to Elevation, select Student List, select Views in EOI Lpac 2021, and select Continuing Students. The view gives a grade level chart. Click on each grade level bar to see the student's continuing services in that specific grade level. Continuing L's data review. Update instructional accommodations for the 2021-2022 school year. Student grades, and you'll select which applies to the student, if they passed all core courses or if they failed any core courses. And for fifth grade, scheduling recommendations for sixth grade courses during 2021 or 2022. And then select continuing service, either ESL services or bilingual dual language services. Now you'll go to Lpac Center to schedule and open your EOI Lpacs for continuing Ls. First, select Lpac Schedule. Using the continuing student list, follow the click sheet linked on the slide to schedule and open Lpacs in Lpac Center. Second, the Lpac committee will meet together and will discuss, review, and finalize the continuing status. And third, after finalize, print a copy of the EOI Lpac and place it in the student's green LUT folder. Since the student is continuing service, no PEIMS coding change will be needed. Continuing L's Lpac process. GISD recommends to finalize the continuing Lpacs at a separate time from the reclassification Lpacs. This will allow more time for staff members to support in filing EOI Lpac documents. This is due to all students going into the same Lpac Center bucket. Step 3, reclassification students. These are students who have met the 2021 English Learner Reclassification criteria as linked on this slide. Who are the students eligible for potentially reclassifying? 3rd through 5th grade students who took STAR reading and English, and 3rd through 5th grade students who are not assigned designated supports by the Lpac for STAR reading, English assessment, and 3rd through 5th grade students that have scored advanced high on TELPAS writing, and students showing success in the classroom setting and meet the TEA requirements for reclassification. Please note that 3rd through 5th grade SPED TELPAS ALT students who were recommended for reclassification in the fall of 2020 will be discussed later in this presentation. Now let's review the elementary EOI Lpac schedule. As you can see, we are on step 4, in which a classroom teacher will receive an email per elevation of the teacher reclassification rubric. Here is the latest update of the 2021 English Learner Reclassification Criteria chart from TEA. Looking at the English Learner Proficiency Assessment section, the assessments available for these grade levels are TELPAS or lost links, which will be reviewed later in this presentation. The second part of the chart, the State Standardized Reading Assessment, will be the STAR or IO assessment depending on the grade level that will be reclassifying. And the third part of the chart, the English Learner Reclassification rubric, will be assigned an elevation by the campus. TEA issued 3 allowances for reclassification scenarios in the 2020-2021 school year due to COVID-19, in place of the English Learner Proficiency Assessment, which is the TELPAS. The 3 reclassification allowance options are Allowance 1, TELPAS Combined Results, or Puzzle TELPAS, Allowance 2, the use of Lost Links Assessment, and Allowance 3, use of the 2020-2021 STAR Reading Assessment. Allowance 1 is if an English learner completes 1 or more domains of the 2020-2021 TELPAS, but not all. Completed domains from the 2019-2020 TELPAS may be used to complete the ELP assessment requirement. Here is a scenario showing this allowance. Allowance 2. If an English learner is unable to receive a completed score for all domains of the 2020-2021 TELPAS, the Lost Links Assessment, which can be administered remotely, may be administered after the TELPAS testing window to determine that the student has met the level designated for English proficiency for the ELP component of the 2020-2021 L reclassification criteria. Lost Links and TELPAS scores cannot be combined. Here is a scenario of Allowance 2. Please note that in order for a student to meet reclassification with Lost Links, the student will need to take all 4 domains of the Lost Links assessment during intersession and score a 4 or 5 in all 4 domains. Then the student will need to receive a passing result for STAR reading and have an English Learner Reclassification rubric completed by the teacher. Allowance 3. If an English learner is able to have a completed score of meets or master's grade level on the STAR reading 3 through 8 or English 1 or 2 EOC for 9th and 10th grade exam, but does not have a completed TELPAS reading score, the STAR results of meets or master's grade level can cover the ELP assessment criteria for meeting advanced high on the TELPAS reading component. Here is a scenario of Allowance 3. Please note that the student must have taken the STAR Reading English without designated supports recommended by the Lpac committee for the 2020-2021 school year. Here is the 2020-2021 L Annual Review Reclassification Flowchart from Region 10. Please note that you may not combine TELPAS and Lost Link scores. You may not mix and match best scores for reclassification, and students are not eligible for reclassification if STAR reading was in Spanish or designated supports were assigned. Here's an overview of the process. Step 1. Determine the students who could potentially be recommended for reclassification using the first reclassification list spreadsheet for your campus. This will be helpful when the EOI Lpac committee meets to discuss whether to recommend a student for reclassification or continuing services. Step 2. The teacher reclassification rubric will be sent out by the Lpac administrator. This will happen between May 24th through May 26th, as seen on the EOY Lpac schedule for 2021. The ELL department created the elevation filtered list of the students who are not assigned designated supports for STAR Reading or English EOC 1 and 2 by the Lpac. To find this list, take the following steps. In elevation, select Student List, select Views in EOY Lpac 2021, and finally select Potential Reclassifiers without designated support. You will see a grade level chart, and you can click on each grade level bar to see the students who may be eligible to potentially reclassify pending the Lpac committee recommendation. Before assigning the teacher reclassification rubric form, please make sure to check with your CTC to see who has taken the STAR reading. If the student did not take the STAR reading assessment, the student is not eligible for reclassification. In order to assign the rubric form, Step 1, select the box to the left of the student name. Step 2, you'll select the Edit button. Step 3, assign the form. And Step 4, you will select English Learner Reclassification Rubric. Step 3, the Elevation Teacher Reclassification Rubric will be completed May 24th through June 2nd, and this was sent out by the Lpac administrator. We are now on Step 5 of our EOY Lpac schedule. Use the following form to inform teachers to be on the lookout of the elevation email, as seen on the slide. If a teacher does not think the student is ready for reclassification, data will need to be provided to show support to not recommend for reclassification due to language support needed. An example has been shown on this slide. This rubric can prevent students from reclassifying as part of the Lpac decision. The Lpac administrator must monitor and ensure that the teacher email was sent by elevation and that the teachers have completed the rubric. As you can see on the right side of the slide, here is how you can check to see if teachers have completed this rubric. You will go to Students, Monitoring, English Learner Reclassification Rubric, and then you will click on Submitted Forms to see how many teachers have completed the form. Step 4, the 2021 EOY Lpac Pending Assessment Scores and Allowances. This is where you will perform your 2021 EOY Lpac. Remember, an Lpac administrator, Lpac teacher, and an Lpac parent, who is highly recommended but optional due to COVID-19, are required for this meeting. During this meeting, you will update instructional accommodations for the 2021-2022 school year, student grades assessment data, teacher reclassification rubric form, and 5th grade schedule recommendations for 6th grade classes during the 2021-2022 school year. You will select reclassification pending state allowance from the reclassification criteria chart. Here is the EOY Lpac process for possible reclassification. Step 1, log into elevation. Step 2, select students in Lpac Center. Step 3, select the unscheduled bucket. Step 4, select all students who are in the unscheduled bucket to batch schedule EOY Lpac. Step 5, see the click sheet linked for steps to schedule, perform, and finalize EOY Lpacs for reclassification. And Step 6, print a copy of the EOY Lpacs and place them in the left green folders. After scores are sent to the district by TEA, addendum Lpacs will be completed. Parent letters will be sent home for approval and signatures, and PEIMS coding will be updated through student services. Step 4, SPED-L duly coded students. SPED-L duly coded students that have taken TELPAS or STAR will continue services or reclassify based on the 2021 reclassification criteria chart. Step 5, SPED-L TELPAS Alt Testers reclassification criteria. Duly coded students in grades 2 through 12, SPED and L, who in the fall of 2020, Lpac admin set forth a reclassification plan with the SPED diagnostician. Who meets SPED-L reclassification criteria? SPED-Ls taking Telpass Alt. SPED-L students with a significant cognitive disability who qualify under the Telpass Alt criteria can be considered for EOY Lpac reclassification. The first step that was to be completed in the fall of 2020 was when the Lpac and ARD committee met in the fall to set forth the students' reclassification plan, as noted in the linked 2020 Telpass Alt training on the slide. In the second step, the plan includes teacher data to collect each month to show English proficiency, which the guidance is also linked on the slide. Telpass Alt testers. Step 1, the individual reclassification process started in the fall of 2020 was a meeting between the Lpac admin, teacher, and ARD committee, in which they created a state-required plan to document students that no longer need English learner services and meet English proficiency specifically designed to students' cognitive needs. Step 2, the student is eligible to take Telpass Alt. Collect this list from the campus test coordinator. If step 1 and 2 have been completed, then you are ready to move on with the reclassification process. It's important to note that if there is no fall plan documented, this means the student will continue as an English learner. So we've just discussed step 1, the ARD Lpac reclassification process that has already been going on, and we're going to move on to step 2. Step 2, the teacher reclassification rubric sent by the Lpac administrator as shown on step 4 of the EOY Lpac schedule for 2021. This will be done in elevation between May 24th through May 26th. Here is how you determine the student list to send the teacher rubric. Step 1, select student list. Step 2, filter LEP status, check ELL and parent refusal. And step 3, check off students who are possible reclassifiers. Step 4, edit and assign a form. Step 5, choose English Learner Reclassification Rubric - alternate. In step 6, ensure teachers have received the reclassification rubric via email, as well as completing the rubric before finalizing the EOY Lpac. The click sheet for this is linked on the slide. Moving on to step 3. The elevation teacher reclassification rubric has been completed. This is step 5, which is between May 24th and June 2nd on the EOY Lpac schedule. Use the following form to inform teachers to be on the lookout of an elevation email. If the process was started and documented for the student in the summer of 2020 or fall 2020, the teacher of record will need to be assigned the English reclassification rubric alternate in elevation. Teachers must complete this prior to the Lpac being finalized. All rubric forms are due in elevation on or before June 2nd. The Lpac administrator can require an earlier due date for his or her campus. Here is an example of the teacher rubric view. The teacher will select one descriptor for receptive skills, listening and reading. The teacher will select one descriptor for expressive skills, speaking and writing. And then they will make a recommendation and sign and submit the form. The Lpac administrator will ensure the rubric is completed by the teacher before meeting to finalize the EOY Lpac. You can review the forms that have been completed by going to Monitoring, then English Learner Reclassification Rubric Alternate, and from there you will see the Submitted Forms bucket, and that will be who has already completed these forms for your campus. In step 4, you will perform the 2021 EOY Lpac for Telpass Alt testers. Remember, the Lpac administrator, Lpac teacher, and an optional Lpac parent due to COVID-19 will need to attend this Lpac committee meeting. In this meeting, you will review student data and the teacher reclassification rubric alternate before finalizing if you're going to recommend reclassification pending the results and staffing at BOY. An addendum Lpac will be completed after July of 2021. TELPAS and STAR data is received. This will need to be done within the 30-day BOI window in the 2021-2022 school year. First, you will receive the TELPAS alt results. Next, the Lpac admin will meet with the ARD committee to review the fall plan and TELPAS alt scores. An addendum Lpac will be completed to document whether the student met reclassification or will continue L services. And finally, an ARD and Lpac follow-up collaboration meeting will occur. 2021-2022 secondary scheduling. This involves 6th through 11th grade L scheduling recommendations and documentation for next year. The secondary courses for Ls and the course descriptions are linked on the slide. Middle school L courses available are ELA, Sheltered Reading and English, and Avid Excel. High school L courses available are ESA, ELDA, L Reading, and L Leadership. Here is the ESL course guide for middle school and the high school scheduling for L students. We have also included secondary course scenarios to help you during the scheduling process. Please remember step 2 and 3 of the secondary EOI Lpac schedule note a hands-on training for high school and middle school on May 14th and 17th at 9 o'clock or 2 o'clock. When considering EL scheduling for 8th to 11th grade, open the EOI Lpac, and the Lpac administrator will look through student data to check off which course meets the student needs. When finalizing the EOI Lpac, the Lpac administrator will present student recommendation to the Lpac committee for final approval. Using the EOI Lpac recommendations, at the beginning of the 2021-2022 school year, the Lpac teacher and the Lpac administrator at the middle school campuses will ensure the scheduling recommendations are updated per the EOI Lpac recommendation, if applicable. Updating green folders. What needs to be updated for the end of the 2020-2021 school year? In the English Learners green folders, students' documentation is kept in the front office. What is needed in the L green folder? Using the green Lpac folder check sheet will ensure all documents are in the Lpac folder for the 2021 school year. Also included on the slide is a link to the Lpac directory in which you will see that you can click on the documents to print to put into the folders. Here is a to-do list. First, we need to update the student history worksheet this year. And second, add a printed 2021 EOI Lpac copy. The student history worksheet. The purpose of this form is to track a student's LEP status, program participation, years in U.S. schools, and to summarize a student's testing history. This form needs to be completed before the initial Lpac and IC, as years in U.S. schools will be requested during the meeting. The digital form is found in the GISD Lpac directory. All English learners student history worksheets need to be updated by the following steps, which step 1, at the end of the year, add the following to the blank row. 2021 school year, grade level, school name and district name. If the student was enrolled for more than 60 days, place a check, and no pre-loss information is needed. On step 2, which is done while filing the EOI Lpac, note the Lpac recommendation for continuing and for possible reclassifiers. And at step 3, which will happen at the beginning of the year, what scores are received for STAR and TELPAS, add the following data to the form. The following documents must be filed for all English learners, monitor students, parent denial students, SPED L students, green Lpac folder. 1, the TELPAS writing samples, whether a rating was completed or not. And 2, the EOI Lpac for 2021 printed from Elevation. Please remember your ELAs and Lpac teachers may support this filing process. Let's move on to the BOI process to complete EOI Lpac decisions, which is coming soon in the following school year. Once 2021 TELPAS and STAR scores are received, the following slides will give you guidance for your next step. To do after this training. First, you will need to complete the EOI Lpac training quiz. as linked on the slide. Please make sure you complete this quiz to receive credit for the training. You will also need to print and follow the elementary EOI Lpac schedule, as well as complete the EOI Lpac checklist Google form, which is also linked and due on June 8th. Thank you so much for your hard work this year and for participating in the EOI Lpac training for 2021. Please feel free to reach out to us with any questions, as we are happy to help.